सुहृदं यज्ञस्य देवामृतृजं होतारं रत्नधातुम् अग्निः पूर्वेभिर्षिवीर्यो नूतने सदेवायेह वक्षति अग्निनारयिमष्टवत् कोशमेव दिवे दिवे यशि सम्प्रियमत्तमम् अग्नेयं यज्ञवद्वरम् विश्वतः परिभूयसि स देवेषु गच्छति अग्निर्होताकविक्रतुः सत्यश्चित्रशवस्तवः देवो देवेभिरागमः यदन्ननाशुषे त्वमग्नि फलं करिष्यसि तवेतत्सत्यमन्दिरः उपत्वाग्ने दिवे दिवे दोषावस्तरधिया वयम् नमो भरन्तरेणसि राजन्तमध्वराणाम् गोपामृतस्य दीदिविम् वर्धमानं स्वेदम्
Shall we start?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Buenos dias, Mexico. Namaskar. Welcome, bienvenido todos. I am Dr. Srimati Das, Director of the Gurudev Tagore Indian Cultural Center, Embassy of India at Mexico. It is our extreme pleasure to welcome Dr. Shobhana Radhakrishna to narrate the Gandhi Katha. She is our narrator. Gandhiji was a pragmatic, enlightened, engaged spiritualist. He had his pulse on Indian and Western psychology. According to him, every human being on earth is inherently spiritual. He aspires for self-realization. One of the techniques Gandhiji adopted for this development of spiritual man is through satyagraha. Gandhi's concept of spirituality, which is very much needed today to help heal injustice, hatred, pettiness, fear, and violence, is through love, kindness, equanimity, courage, and non-violence. We have a very eminent Gandhian joinee with us in Dr. Shobhana Radhakrishna today as we celebrate the grand finale of Gandhi at 150 celebrations, an acclaimed international speaker on the philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi. She is the founder of Scope Gandhian Forum for Ethical Corporate Governance in India. Brought up in Mahatma Gandhi's Seva Ashram, she has cultivated a strong ideological connect with Gandhi's ideals since childhood. She has established many organizations and constructive programs inspired by the vision of Gandhiji. I would request the Gandhi Forum to telecast the welcome address of His Excellency, the Ambassador of India to Mexico, Shri Manpreet Vohra.
Namaste. Buenos dias a todas y a todos in Mexico. Good evening to everyone in India. 2nd of October last year, 2019, was the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. In honor of the great man, father of my nation, but a son of the whole world, we recognize his birth date also as the International Day of Non-Violence. Over the last 12 months, in every continent and country, as well as here in Mexico, we have been celebrating Mahatma Gandhi's life and recalling the principles and ideals that he taught us. Although Gandhiji passed away 72 years ago, almost everyone, Indians and others, are convinced that Gandhiji's teachings are even more important and relevant today for all humankind and for our planet. For my embassy and the Gurudev Tagore Indian Cultural Center in Mexico, today marks the grand finale of our year-long celebrations. It is a great honor and privilege that we have with us Dr. Shobhana Radhakrishna, the very eminent and well-known Gandhian who has made it her life's mission to spread the message of Gandhiji across the globe. Dr. Radhakrishna does this in several ways, but a unique method she employs is the ancient Indian tradition of storytelling or oral narration called Katha. She has already delivered almost 200 lectures and Gandhi Kathas in 98 countries. Gandhiji was an enlightened and very pragmatic man. His simple and frugal life holds important lessons for all of us, in particular, that harmonious development of the body, the mind, and the spirit is essential for every person and for overall well-being. Gandhiji's concept of spirituality has much relevance to today's world, even more so in these troubled times of a global pandemic that threatens our lives and our livelihoods and challenges our courage, our equanimity, and perhaps even our faith. Dr. Radhakrishna will talk to us about how Gandhiji's philosophy and teachings can be applied to improve the human condition and how we may all cope with and stay safe physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Welcome, Dr. Radhakrishna, and thank you so much for being with us. Namaste. Buenos dias.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Excellency, for the video of the welcome address. Dr. Shobhana Radhakrishna, we welcome you to narrate Gandhi Katha to our friends in Mexico and India. Welcome, madam.
Thank you, Ambassador, Your Excellency, Shri Manpreet Voraji, for your kind message and support. Namaskar and welcome to the Gandhi Katha, story of Mahatma Gandhi, narrated by me during the culmination of the commemoration of the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi.
Bienvenidos al Gandhi Katha, dirigido por mí en la culminación de la celebración del 150 aniversario del nacimiento del Mahatma.
I am grateful to the Gurudev Tagore Indian Cultural Center and the Embassy of India in Mexico for hosting the online Gandhi Katha amidst these challenging times.
Agradezco a la Embajada de la India y al Centro Cultural de la India por organizar este programa.
I will talk about Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy, his spirituality, and his practices of health and wellness.
Hablaré de la filosofía, la espiritualidad y las prácticas de paz de Mahatma Gandhi.
His way of life, of health and well-being, of mind, body, mind, and spirit is very, very important for coping up and staying safe physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually during and after the global pandemic, which has affected the entire humanity.
Su modo de vida es muy importante para estar a salvo física, mental y espiritualmente durante estos tiempos de pandemia.
On 2nd October, the world celebrated the UN International Day of Nonviolence, and in India, we celebrated Mahatma Gandhi's birth anniversary as Gandhi Jayanti.
En octubre se celebra a nivel mundial el Día de la No Violencia y en la India se celebra el Día del Nacimiento de Mahatma Gandhi.
Dr. Antonio Guterres, UN Secretary General, in his message on that day said, and I quote,
El mensaje de Antonio Gutiérrez, secretario general de Naciones Unidas.
on this year's observance, we have a special duty.
En este año se observa que tenemos una tarea muy especial.
Stop the fighting to focus on our common enemy, COVID-19.
Detener las peleas y enfocarnos en nuestro enemigo común, el COVID-19.
There is only one winner of conflict during a pandemic, the virus itself.
Hay solamente un ganador en el conflicto durante una pandemia, el mismo virus.
As the pandemic took hold, I called for a global ceasefire.
Como la pandemia ha tomado el control, hago un llamado para un cese al fuego global. Dr. Shobhana, your microphone.
Let us be inspired by the spirit of Gandhi and the enduring principles of the UN Charter.
Inspirémonos por el espíritu de Gandhi y los principios de las Naciones Unidas.
Gandhiji used to begin and end his day with prayers.
Gandhi acostumbraba iniciar y terminar el día con oraciones.
These were prayers from all the religions of the world.
Y estas oraciones eran por todas las religiones del mundo.
Gandhiji's internal core comprised of the essence of all the religions, one that he had acquired from long study and reflection.
Estas oraciones tienen que ver con todas las religiones y él adquirió estos conocimientos desde mucho tiempo atrás.
The devotional poetry of the same poets that he had heard, sung, and absorbed
Un poema devocional
since his childhood made up a significant part of the life of his soul.
que desde su niñez implicó una influencia fundamental en su vida.
He said that ultimately all the religions point to the same truth.
Y decía que al final de todo, todas las religiones confluyen en un mismo punto.
That truth was of compassion, love, respect, and tolerance.
cosas como la verdad, la compasión, el amor, el respeto y la tolerancia.
And that everyone must study the essence of all the religions in an attitude of perfect reverence.
Y todos deben de estudiar la esencia de las religiones en una actitud de perseverancia.
And have friendship and respect for the practitioners of different religions and diverse cultures.
En otras religiones, en otras culturas.
Our ancient scripture Rita confirms it, saying, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. There is only one truth, and learned persons call it by many names.
Nuestras antiguas escrituras dicen que solamente hay una verdad.
This sound is coming, Gautam. This sound is coming.
This verse reminds us that there are many paths that lead to God.
You have to tell.
One of Gandhiji's legacies to the world is interfaith dialogue.
Uno de los legados de Mahatma Gandhi es interpretar el diálogo
For establishing harmony, unity, and brotherhood.
para establecer armonía, unidad y hermandad.
As you heard in the beginning, we started by propitiating the God of fire for the success of the program.
Como escucharon al principio, queremos propagar estas ideas
And beseeched God fire to let us complete today's program, which we are doing in the spirit of sacrifice, so that all that I want to say reaches perfectly nicely to the audience.
y que se nos permita terminar esta sesión para toda la audiencia.
As usual, I will begin today's Gandhi Katha with a Sanskrit prayer.
Como siempre, voy a iniciar esta Gandhi Katha con un mantra en sánscrito,
Which asks God to lead us from untruth to truth,
que nos permita Dios llegar a la verdad,
from darkness to light,
de la oscuridad a la luz,
from death to immortality.
a partir de la muerte a la inmortalidad.
This prayer, during these challenging times of COVID-19 pandemic, is for the well-being of everyone.
Esta oración durante estos tiempos de pandemia de COVID-19 es para y por el bienestar de todos.
So we will now play the prayer. Please listen into that.
Entonces, reproduciremos la oración, por favor, escúchenla todos.
Sargamaya Sadgamaya, Sadgamaya, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, 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 Mrityoma, Amritam Gamaya, Amritam Gamaya, Amritam Gamaya, Mrityoma, Amritam Gamaya, Amritam Gamaya, Amritam Gamaya, Amritam Gamaya.
I pay my respects to the leading lights of Mexico
Para,
and convey my warm wishes to the Mexicans and the Indian community who have joined me online today.
y transmito mis saludos para la comunidad de la India y los mexicanos que se han unido a nosotros.
We stand in solidarity with you all in our common fight against the pandemic.
Permanecemos en solidaridad con ustedes en contra de la pandemia global.
Mahatma Gandhi is clearly the most revered Indian personality in Mexico.
Mahatma Gandhi es la mayor personalidad de la India reconocida en México.
His eternally valid teachings of the values of truth, non-violence resonate throughout Mexico.
Sus estudios sobre la no violencia y la paz resuenan en México.
I have heard that there is a statue of Mahatma Gandhi. The government of Mexico brought out the postal stamp. There is a school named after Mahatma Gandhi, and there are bookstores called Gandhi. And in a village, 400 families are earning their livelihood by spinning khadi.
He escuchado que hay una estatua de Mahatma Gandhi que el gobierno instaló. También he sabido que hay una librería que se llama Mahatma Gandhi, algunas escuelas llamadas Mahatma Gandhi y un pueblo en Oaxaca donde 400 familias trabajan con el khadi.
Pietro Emiglio is a Gandhian civil rights and peace activist, best known for his role in promoting nonviolence.
Pedro Emilio es un gandiano que promueve la no violencia.
And creating a movement for peace and anti-militarism in Mexico.
Y ha creado un movimiento por la paz y el antimilitarismo en México.
A practitioner of Gandhian methodology, Emiglio's philosophy is to tap the positive values.
Un practicante de la filosofía gandiana a favor de la paz.
And moral sensibilities of Mexican culture, which can be marshaled to oppose war.
Sensibilidad moral hacia la cultura mexicana.
To change the model of armed peace to a model of peace with justice.
Para cambiar el modelo de paz armada hacia un modelo de paz justa.
This combination of practical and formal peace work
Esta combinación de paz práctica y moral
has led Pietro Amiglio to be described as one of the most important teachers and practitioners of active non-violence in Latin America today.
Yogendraji, can you come in and do the translation for Madam?
Of course,
We will be honored. Yes. Thank you, Madam. Thank you so much, Shobhana.
Shall I repeat?
please, ma'am.
This combination of practical and formal peace work has led
Esta combinación de trabajo práctico de la paz
has led Pietro Amiglio to be described as
ha llevado al profesor Pieglo Amitrio para describir como
one of the most important teachers and practitioners of active nonviolence in Latin America today.
como uno de los practicantes y profesores de no violencia en América Latina de hoy.
Gandhi Katha is based on the ancient Indian oral tradition of Katha or storytelling with hymns and narration.
Gandhi Katha se basa en la tradición de la India antigua.
I have given talks on Gandhi Katha in more than 136 countries hosted by the Indian missions during Gandhi 150.
He dado en más de 150 lugares Gandhi Katha y, digamos, la narración de Gandhi Katha hechas por las comisiones y las embajadas de la India en todo el mundo.
In all the countries, people have great reverence and respect for Mahatma Gandhi.
En todos los países, toda la gente tiene un respeto y una reverencia hacia Mahatma Gandhi.
Many have been inspired by him to take up the cudgels against injustice through non-violence.
Muchos han sido inspirados por él para terminar con la no violencia y
Others-
apoyar la justicia.
Others have followed his environmental credo.
Otros han seguido su creencia climatológica.
And still others have been deeply touched by his spiritual life.
Y muchos han sido tocados e inspirados por su espiritualidad.
The humanism of the world's thought leaders are so deeply reflected in Gandhiji's teachings.
La moralidad y las enseñanzas de Gandhi han inspirado a muchísimos líderes en todo el mundo.
The new generation is eager to understand more about the greatest man of the last century who made such a huge impact on humanity and inspired many world leaders.
Y las generaciones actuales también están curiosas para aprender de este gran líder que ha inspirado a muchos otros líderes en la historia moderna.
One of the many people whose lives were influenced by Mahatma Gandhi's example was the social justice advocate and the Mexican-American civil rights activist Cesar Chavez.
César Chávez fue uno de estos líderes mundiales que fueron inspirados por la filosofía de no violencia de la Gandhi y hacer las cosas en la sociedad.
From a very early age, Chavez found inspiration and guidance in the writings of Gandhiji, and later in life was able to adapt Mahatma Gandhi's principles of non-violence and civil disobedience.
Desde una edad muy pequeña, César Chávez encontró un ejemplo que seguir en Mahatma Gandhi para seguir después con los escritos y en la vida de Mahatma Gandhi.
To the context of the struggle for farm workers' rights in the USA.
Y en el contexto de derecho de los campesinos en los Estados Unidos.
Along with my father, I had an opportunity to meet Cesar Chavez.
Junto con mi papá tuve oportunidad de conocer a César Chávez.
And we discussed about many organizations established by Gandhiji, his ashram life, and the philosophy of satyagraha which Chavez was using in his work.
Y tuvimos la oportunidad de conversar sobre la vida de Mahatma Gandhi y su ashram y su vida en el ashram para poder llevar a cabo su vida como un ejemplo en todo el país.
Now I will play the Gandhi Katha hymn in Hindi with English subtitles, which elaborates on Gandhiji's definition of truth as having harmony between thought, word, and deed.
Ahora voy a pasar el video que habla sobre cómo se puede coincidir la palabra, la acción y el pensamiento en la filosofía de Gandhi.
मन वाणी कर्म में सत्य ही तू बोल मन वाणी कर्म में सत्य ही तू बोल जीवन में मंगल के द्वार दे तू खोल जीवन में मंगल के द्वार दे तू खोल ज्ञान कर्म भक्ति का हो सम्यक विधान ज्ञान कर्म भक्ति का हो सम्यक विधान सत्य शिव सुंदर का सुमधुर होगान सत्य शिव सुंदर का सुमधुर होगान मन वाणी कर्म में सत्य ही तू बोल मन वाणी कर्म में सत्य ही तू बोल जीवन में मंगल के द्वार दे तू बोल जीवन में मंगल के द्वार दे तू बोल ज्ञान कर्म भक्ति का हो सम्यक विधान ज्ञान कर्म भक्ति का हो सम्यक विधान सत्य शिव सुंदर का सुमधुर होगान सत्य शिव सुंदर का सुमधुर होगान
Since Gandhiji passed on, in every part of the world, his relevance is felt as strongly as ever before.
La filosofía de Gandhi en el contexto actual es más relevante que en cualquier otro tiempo.
And his visions and actions are of an enduring significance for all times and places.
Y sus pensamientos y sus acciones son relevantes en todo el tiempo y en todos los lugares.
His approach to life was holistic and cannot be divided into watertight compartments of social, religious, political, public, and personal life.
Su vida era holística y no se puede fragmentar entre lo social, lo político, lo filosófico, lo histórico nada más.
Gandhiji stands out as the champion not only of political democracy, but also of economic and spiritual democracy in today's world.
La vida de Gandhi y la filosofía de Gandhi no solo se puede encasillar en una democracia política, sino también en una democracia social e económica.
He believed that moral degeneration is the root cause of all evils, including conflicts.
Él creía que la degeneración moral es la causa de todos los males.
This explains his lifelong crusade of attainment of moral values such as truth, non-violence, purity of means, love, self-control, forgiveness, respect, friendliness, compassion, mercy, and so on.
Eso explica el hincapié que él daba sobre valores morales como la verdad, la no violencia, el perdón, aparigraha, no poseer las cosas, no ser posesivo, etc.
Mahatma Gandhi's environmental practices were based on conservation of natural resources, which were often misused and overused for the sake of development.
Las prácticas de Gandhi en cuanto a nuestro ecología se basaban en su conciencia acerca de los recursos naturales.
Warned about the unsustainability on the global scale and had said that greed will be the main reason for the environmental degradation and the ecological crisis.
Y él explicaba que la causa de la degradación ecológica y desastre natural sería nuestra codicia.
Gandhiji was the first environmentalist who, much before the rest of the world was preoccupied with the concerns for ecology and environment, had predicted all this a century ago.
Gandhiji fue entre los primeros ecologistas y él se preocupaba y ya había profetizado acerca de todos los problemas ecológicos que ahora estamos experimentando.
With his stunning premonition and knowledge, he had declared that the earth, the air, the land, and the water are not an inheritance from our forefathers, but on loan from our children. So we have to hand it over to them as it was handed over to us.
Y él ya había declarado que la tierra, el aire, el terreno y el agua son una herencia de nuestros padres, pero es una deuda hacia nuestros hijos. Así que necesitamos entregárselos lo que nosotros recibimos.
Equality for women within the society was a principle Gandhiji passionately believed in.
Y también la situación de la mujer era muy importante para Gandhi y él creyó en esto.
His vision of Sarvodaya, the welfare of all, becomes very relevant in the crisis of internally displaced people and migrants.
Y también su concepto de Sarvodaya, que quiere decir el progreso de todos en el universo, trajo el concepto para que todos progresaran al mismo tiempo.
He may well have kept in mind the very basic unit of human organization, which is a village or a county.
Y él tomaba en cuenta la unidad básica de cualquier lugar, que es el campo mismo o un pueblo.
His vision of Gram Swaraj, which is a self-reliant, independent, self-governed village built on the premises of sustainable development and growth, is the need of the hour.
Y su concepto de Gram Swaraj, que se basa en tener un pueblo autoindependiente y libre de dependencia de otros, era un concepto básico en su filosofía.
Gandhiji's life provides an excellent role model of the ways of spiritual development.
Y la vida de Gandhi también enseña de desarrollo y crecimiento espiritual.
The techniques he crafted, like Satyagraha, and the other strategies he followed in his personal and public life, give us insights into how spirituality can be applied to improve human condition.
Y las metodologías que él desarrolló, como la no violencia e insistir con la verdad, nos dio una opción para que pudiéramos crecer en todos los niveles del ser humano.
Gandhiji sought the guidance of his inner voice, not only in the spiritual realm, but also in the political realm.
Y Gandhiji propuso que crecimiento no solamente a nivel, digamos, a nivel espiritual, sino también a nivel político es necesario.
He created a regimen of spiritual discipline that enabled him to search himself through and through self-introspection, self-examination, and self-purification.
Y su crecimiento y su experimentación con auto-verdad, auto-introspección y autodescubrimiento fueron las herramientas que lo llevaron a tal nivel de crecimiento humano.
He was following the ancient tradition of using spirituality as a basis of social change.
Él estaba siguiendo la tradición antigua de crecimiento espiritual como una herramienta para crecimiento social.
His approach was always aimed at appealing to the head and the heart, and this had its roots in the Indian thought, but was suffused by the ideas from the East and the West.
Y su... Man, can you please repeat this? It's important.
And this had its roots in the Indian thought, but was suffused by the ideas from the East and the West.
Eso tiene su raíz en la idiosincrasia de Oriente, pero una fusión entre la filosofía oriental y occidental.
It was not the result of an overnight change, but a gradual and studied transformation brought about by Mahatma Gandhi's endeavors over the years from his childhood.
Y eso no fue un cambio que sucedió de día a noche, sino fue toda una vida de experiencias y experimentaciones de Gandhi que dio ese resultado.
Moral and spiritual training remained the foundation of all Gandhiji did.
El entrenamiento moral y espiritual fue la base de lo que hoy conocemos a nombre de filosofía de Mahatma Gandhi.
His personal and public life, his being a truthful lawyer, his movements of non-violent civil disobedience, his thoughts and conduct, his community life in the ashrams, and his endeavor for spiritualization of politics gives us insights into how spirituality can be applied to improve human condition.
Su vida como un abogado que creía en la verdad, como un político que creía en no violencia, nos dio una visión más amplia para que podamos ver el fruto de la filosofía y de la idiosincrasia de Gandhi.
The applications of which are not India specific but are universally adaptable.
Y esas aplicaciones no solamente se restringen a la India, sino se puede vivir universalmente.
From my understanding and experience of living in Gandhiji's Sevagram ashram in Maharashtra, I want to tell you that Gandhiji had made a set of 11 rules called Ekadasha Vrata, and they were the 11 observances for the spiritual and moral development of the ashram community.
En mi experiencia de vivir en el ashram y el pueblo de Mahatma Gandhi fue practicar las 11 observancias que me dieron una base para crecer en todos los niveles.
Any rule that is followed for a lifetime becomes an observance or vrata.
Cualquier regla, cuando es seguida toda la vida, se vuelve como una observancia o un vrat.
The principle at the root of the 11 observances was to do unto others what you want others to do unto you.
Y la base de estas 11 observancias era, haz o trata a otros como quieres que te traten otros a ti.
He realized that vows gave inner strength to those who observed them.
Él creía que las observancias daba fuerza los que lo seguían.
11 vows or Ekadasha Vrata are truth, non-violence, non-stealing, brahmacharya, and non-possession.
Y esas Ekadash Vrata u 11 observancias son no violencia, la verdad, no poseer, no robar y celibacía, brahmacharya.
These 5 main observances are acceptable and practiced in almost all the religions of the world.
Estas 5 observancias son practicadas casi en todas las religiones y creencias del mundo.
To these, Gandhiji added 2 more auxiliary vratas, which were fearlessness and the control of palate.
A esto, Gandhiji añadió 2 más. Uno es no temer y otro es tener dominio sobre el gusto.
These 2 were very important for the observances of all the above 5 main observances.
Y estas 2 fueron muy importantes para poder llevar a cabo los 5 anteriores.
Gandhiji linked these values with the freedom movement and the existing conditions in India and added 4 more observances.
Gandhiji añadió a estos para llevar o para conectarlos con el movimiento de la independencia de la India.
That was equality of religion, bread labor, Swadeshi, and removal of untouchability.
Y esas 4 fueron la igualdad de las religiones, Swadeshi, el uso de los productos locales y el labor para los que trabajan en los campos.
Gandhiji imbibed all these from the main teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, the Indian scripture which lays down the conduct of a person driven by selfless work, desireless action.
Y esa filosofía Gandhi sustrajo de una de las escrituras más importantes de la filosofía de la India, que es Srimad Bhagavad Gita, de donde él hizo un hincapié sobre actuar sin esperar el resultado, Nishkam Karma.
By renouncing the fruits of action and by dedicating all the activities to God.
Renunciar el fruto de la acción y dedicar todas las acciones a Dios.
That is, by surrendering oneself to God, body and soul, and living with non-possession and non-attachment.
Entregándose uno mismo en cuerpo, mente y palabra a Dios y confiar y tener fe en el resultado de las acciones.
1831, Gandhiji had gone to Switzerland and met Pierre Cerisole, the very famous activist. And to him he said, and I would like to repeat after you translate that.
Y en 1931 Gandhiji conoció al activista social de Suiza, Pierre Cerisole, y le comentó
about his experience in South Africa and India. Cerisole said, I am afraid our people in Europe are not like yours in India and are not ready for such acts as these.
Y Pierre Cerisole comentó, después de haber escuchado sus experiencias de Sudáfrica, que en Europa la gente no está dispuesta ni preparada para seguir esta filosofía.
In a very gentle voice, Gandhiji said, are you sure it is the people who are not ready, Mr. Cerisole?
En una voz muy suave, Gandhiji dijo, ¿estás seguro, señor Cerisole, no es la gente que está preparada?
Oh, exclaimed Pierre, I see what you mean. You are right. It is we who are failing. It is leadership that we lack. Is that what you mean, Mr. Gandhi?
Y Cerisole sorprendió y dijo, es cierto, no es la gente, somos los líderes que no estamos preparados para eso. ¿Usted se refiere a eso, señor Gandhi?
Gandhiji answered, I must confess, Mr. Cerisole, I do not seem to have come across leaders in Europe, not of the sort that the times call for.
Debo confesar, señor Cerisole, que no he encontrado con los líderes en Europa quienes estén a este nivel.
Cerisole argued, "Tell us what qualities you think a leader for this age would need."
Y Cerezo le preguntó, por favor, díganos qué cualidades o virtudes un líder debe tener.
Realization of God every minute of 24 hours, announced Gandhiji.
Y Gandhiji proclamó, renuncia y realización de Dios todo el momento, las 24 horas del día.
And if a man asked, "What do you mean by God?" asked Pierre.
¿Y qué es lo que quiere decir con Dios? Eso es lo que preguntó Pierre.
Gandhiji replied, "I would answer, truth is God, and the way to find him is non-violence."
Y Gandhiji respondió, la verdad es Dios y la manera de encontrarlo es no violencia.
A leader must have complete mastery over himself. Anger must be banished, and fear and falsehood.
Un líder debe tener un dominio absoluto sobre sí mismo y debe renunciar cualquier miedo y egoísmo que tenga.
You must lose yourself. I tell you, if the entire world denied God, I should be his sole witness.
Y debes dominarte a ti mismo. Y aunque todo el mundo diga Dios no existe, yo debo ser un ejemplo para negarlo.
Though Gandhiji's role and contributions to the political arena are well known, what is less known is his contributions towards health and well-being.
Todos sabemos la aportación de Gandhi en el ambiente político, pero se sabe muy poco acerca de su despertar en el ambiente de la salud.
Gandhiji was a firm believer in the principle that a healthy mind keeps the body healthy, and he stressed the importance of a healthy lifestyle and positive thinking.
Gandhi creía firmemente que una mente sana lleva a un cuerpo sano y así podemos llevar una vida mucho más sana.
Problems in a scientific manner.
Y él quería tratar los problemas de salud de una manera científica.
Gandhiji's message to the world on the vital question of health and well-being is very important. To him, the study of this question was part of the service to God and his creation, which was his mission.
La misión de Gandhi era servir a Dios y eso era uno de los mensajes más importantes de Gandhi, inclusive en el ambiente de la salud.
Very few people know that as a couple, Gandhiji and Kasturba Gandhi, his wife, contributed immensely 123 years ago to public health emergencies, taking care and treating patients selflessly during all the disasters in South Africa and India.
Muy pocas personas saben que Gandhiji y su esposa Kasturba Gandhi desempeñaron un papel activo y muy importante durante las crisis que hubo en Sudáfrica en cuanto a la salud.
As a pandemic of 1918, Gandhiji opened up his Sabarmati Ashram as a quarantine center and treated and served patients through nature cure.
En 1918, en la pandemia, Gandhiji abrió las puertas de su ashram y trató a través de terapia de la naturaleza a los pacientes.
Provided simple vegetarian diet to boost immunity and maintain physical distancing.
Y proveyó la dieta estrictamente vegetariana para aumentar el sistema de la inmunidad.
He said on 10th November 1918, our ancestors could build such tough bodies in the past.
Y él dijo en 1918, nuestros ancestrales pudieron fortalecer,
Today,
pudieron producir los cuerpos fuertes en el pasado.
but today, we are reduced to a state of miserable weakness and are easily infected by noxious germs moving about in the air.
Pero hoy en día nosotros estamos limitados a una debilidad miserable y estamos fácilmente infectados por los gérmenes o por las bacterias que están en el aire.
There is one and only one really effective way by which we can save ourselves from them, even in our present broken state of health.
Hay una y solo una manera efectiva a través de la cual podemos protegernos, inclusive en estado actual miserable de nuestra salud.
Is the way of self restraint, Sanyam, or of imposing a limit on our acts, wants, and desires.
Y este es el camino de autodominio o Sanyam sobre nosotros mismos.
Today, the world is facing three kinds of crises globally. First is the COVID 19 pandemic. Second is the serious and long drawn financial crisis. And the third is ecological crisis, which is impacting everyone.
Hoy en día hay tres retos principales que estamos enfrentando. Uno es la pandemia COVID. Segundo es la crisis económica. Y la tercera son los desastres naturales e ecologistas.
We have to look for answers somewhere within ourselves by learning from the life of Mahatma Gandhi, who had said, "My life is my message."
Y necesitamos aprender observando a nosotros mismos, pero a través de las enseñanzas de Mahatma Gandhi, quien dijo, mi vida es mi enseñanza.
Instead of reinventing a new lifestyle, we just have to get inspired from the life of Gandhiji to make the necessary changes in thought, action, and conduct for coping up during this pandemic.
En vez de inventar un nuevo estilo de vida, podemos ver y inspirarnos en la vida de Mahatma Gandhi para lidiar con la situación actual producida por la pandemia.
The Gandhian way of life is the best guide to practicing the coping mechanism that induces relaxation, positivity, calmness, inner peace, fearlessness, absence of anxiety, and remaining balanced.
Inspirándonos en la vida de Gandhi, podemos lograr las herramientas necesarias para una salud que son liberarnos de la ansiedad, liberarnos de la tensión, aumentar la inmunidad y liberarnos del miedo.
Gandhian principles of freedom from fear and care for all is a perfect prescription in these times of crisis.
Y en ese tiempo de crisis, la prescripción perfecta es estar libre del miedo y servir a otros.
Gandhiji's emphasis on healthy spiritual lifestyle,
el énfasis de Gandhi sobre una vida saludable espiritualmente,
positive thinking, prayer, meditation, chanting, and empowerment of self-care and care for the community would make perfect sense in these.
el pensamiento positivo y rezar y hacer bien y basarnos en la ética es muy relevante en nuestros tiempos.
I once again take this opportunity to thank the Gurudev, Tagore, Indian Cultural Center, and the Embassy of India for hosting the Gandhi Katha, and especially to you, Yogendraji, for interpreting so beautifully in Spanish. And many thanks to all of those people who have joined me online. I will end with the peace benediction in Sanskrit for the universal welfare.
Aprovecho la oportunidad para agradecer a Gurudev Tagore Indian Culture Center y la Embajada de la India para organizar el Gandhi Katha para celebrar 150 años de Mahatma Gandhi. Y voy a terminar mis palabras con el rezo para la salud universal. Thank you, ma'am.
And the Sanskrit prayer is in Sanskrit, and I'll do the English translation also. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let all be happy, let all be healthy, let all experience auspiciousness, let no one be overwhelmed by grief. Om Peace, Peace, Peace.
Sarve Santu Niramaya es uno de los rezos más importantes de la cultura hindú, digamos, de la India antigua, que haya paz para todos, que haya salud para todos, que nadie sufra y que todos vivan felices. Om, paz, paz, paz.
With Gandhiji's blessings, who had said that peace is the only positive force which will lead us from darkness towards light, I will end with the Gandhi Katha hymn, Shubha Mangal Ho.
Que haya lo auspicioso para todo. Quisiera terminar mis palabras diciendo que la paz es la solución de absolutamente todo. Shubha Mangalam.
May there be auspicious good. May there be good. May the earth be auspicious. May the sky be auspicious. May every particle on earth be auspicious.
Que la tierra, el aire, el espacio y todas las partículas de esta tierra disfruten la auspiciosidad.
Thank you, Dr. Srimati Dasji, for your wonderful support in organizing today's event, and I'm extremely grateful to you for everything that you have done.
Namaskar, Shobhana Radhakrishna ji. You are an expert. You are the messenger of Gandhi. You have enriched our life. Mexicans are really grateful to you for having shared Gandhi's Katha with them. On the behalf of the Mexican friends, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for sparing your time and giving the time for Embassy of India at Mexico and Gurudev Tagore Indian Cultural Center. I will be ending this program with a small vote of thanks. Kindly permit me, ma'am. Thank you, Your Excellency, for the welcome address. On behalf of His Excellency, the Ambassador of India to Mexico, Shri Manpreet Vora, I would like to thank Dr. Shobhana Radhakrishna for her scholarly and erudite talk. It was truly a morning of Gandhian philosophy for the entire planet. Your talk, even if we follow a few percentage on the footsteps of Gandhiji, we shall be delivered. The world needs Gandhi today. Let us pledge to work together for the welfare of the world. Shubha Mangalaho. Let us live in harmony. I take this opportunity to thank the Embassy of India at Mexico, the eminent viewers from India and Mexico for logging in to participate in this grand finale of Gandhi at 150. We could not have expected a better event to round off the celebration of Gandhi at 150. Thank you, Shobhana ji, once again. I'm thankful to the Gandhi Forum for making this much looked forward to event technically viable. I would like to thank Dr. Yogendra Sharma, the Hindi teacher of GTICC, who has been the backbone of most of our activities. And I'm thankful to him for translating the valuable words of Shobhana Radhakrishna, which could have been lost if it was not translated. And we are so thankful for him to be the bridging between India and Mexico. Thank you, Yogendra ji.
It's a pleasure, it's an honor, man.
Finally, I would like to thank my technical team for helping with this transmission. And finally, another thanks to the technical team of Gandhi Forum for getting us this wonderful, uninterrupted transmission for the grand finale of Gandhi at 150. Namaskar, buenos dias, and thank you, Mexico. Thank you, India. Viva India, Viva Mexico. Namaskar.